In today's video, I'm gonna put together a couple different budget recording packages so you can start making professional sounding songs for very little money. Hey everyone, my name's Jonah Kroll. I want to take this chance to welcome you to my channel where we do tech reviews, musician tips, recording techniques, and creative vlogs for anyone in the creative industry. So one of my favorite things I get to do is I get to actually teach production lessons to a lot of younger producers or even just people who want to get into recording whatever age they are. And it's very cool these days because, you know, we have Garageband on our phones. If you want to know more about Garageband, you can check out this video up here that I made about recording on your iPad. But when it comes to getting started, so many people are lost. They don't know what stuff they should buy because there's like 1,000 different brands. There's a bunch of different things that they might need. They need a microphone, they need an interface, they need these cables, they need these plugins, they need this DAW. Got a little triggered there, I'm sorry. And of course it's terrifying. There's so much that you feel like you need that you might not know where to start. And the worst part is also, it can cost so much money. I mean, I look at studios sometimes and just the consoles for these studios can cost as much as a brand new Tesla. And that's scary to think about because I couldn't afford a brand new Tesla in the first place, let alone a console for recording. So of course it's intimidating. And so in this video, I wanted to take some time to ease the minds of anyone starting out and just teach you the basics of putting together your own recording setup on a budget. And realistically, you can have a budget recording setup at any price range. The ones that we're going to be doing specifically today are going to be set at $100, which is like the lowest I'd recommend you go. I don't even know if I'd recommend that, but we're going to make it anyway. Then $300, $500, $700, and then last $1,000, which is the much higher range. And you can go up from there. My whole setup honestly only costs maybe $2,000. And that is a very high quality setup for $2,000. I know $2,000 is a lot of money, but in the grand scheme of recording, it's nothing, trust me. But I digress. My point is, I want to show you that you can make really cool setups with very little money. And I'm going to show you what setups I would recommend for different budget ranges. So let's hop over to the computer and let's go to my favorite website, sweetwater.com. Okay, so we've got some stuff pulled up here on the screen. So I made a couple different lists. I made a $300 recording wish list, a $500, $700, $1,000. Now I know I mentioned in the intro that I made a $100, but as I went to go look at that stuff, I realized it's honestly impossible when you're buying new stuff. So what I did, I'll show you for the $100 one, we had to dip into the used stuff. So let's first talk about the $100. Now this is if you're dead broke, you're just saving a little bit of money, maybe you're not old enough to get your own job yet. How do you get that? Well, you're unfortunately gonna have to be a little bit riskier. You're gonna have to go explore places like eBay, where here we have a Tezcam TH02. Now I've never used this, but Tezcam is a good budget brand. Looks like it has good reviews, and the current price is $20. That's really cheap for studio headphones. That's one option for headphones. Then my personal favorite budget microphone of all time is the MXL 990. And this one is cool because it actually comes with a pencil condenser, which is like a condenser microphone, just a little bit smaller. So you'll be able to put it on acoustic guitars and stuff a little bit more easy. Comes with a hard shell case, as you can see here. And this one is currently bidding for $35. So I'm not sure if you'd be able to get it for $35. The mic new goes for, I think the cheapest I found it for new was $80, but you can get it used for much cheaper and they last forever. This was my first recording microphone that I got for Christmas when I was 11 or 12. Obviously it doesn't work as well as it did back then, but it still sounds incredible. Like even my recording friends, we put it side by side with $2,000 microphones and it sounds phenomenal. Okay, so that takes care of the headphones and the microphone. And then last, we have the mixer. Now actually I have this mixer right here, right next to my board, or at least the newer version of this. It works fairly well. Now take note, this doesn't have a power cord, so you need to purchase a new power cord for it, but it plugs into the USB and you can use this as a recording interface. And it actually sounds pretty decent. I liked it. I've used this both live and in the studio and it works. It has some built-in effects and everything like that. So even if you don't have the most powerful software, you can get some cool sounds. Now actually that brings up the next thing, which is what do you do about the software? Well, you're gonna have to start looking into some free softwares. So if you have Apple products, best thing you can get for that is Garageband. Garageband should come free on your Mac, on your iPad. You obviously won't be able to use this stuff with your iPad, keep in mind. But if you have some sort of Apple computer, it should have Garageband preloaded. And if not, it costs like $15. So it's really cheap and super powerful. Again, check this video out up here if you want to know more about Garageband. But there's also Audacity, I'm pretty sure FL Studio is one. All you gotta do is look up free recording software. Cakewalk, Bandlab is another one that I have a student that uses that, and it's not bad considering it's free. But those are some free softwares that you can check out so that you can save money and get some more equipment. And that adds up to just like a little bit over $100. And also keep in mind, this doesn't include the cable. This doesn't include the mic stand. This is like a really desperate bare bones setup that you need. Now, ideally, you wouldn't be building a setup with $100, but this is just for those of you who are in that position. I've been there. I know how that feels. So this is something that can at least get you started pretty decently. Okay, now we move on to the $100 setup. Here's what we got in my Sweetwater wish list for that. Got a Proco. So Proco is basically like I believe they're a Sweetwater brand. They make phenomenal cables. They last forever, they're sturdy, well built, and very affordable for like the quality. This is a 10-footer for $21. Very good, it's gonna last you a long time. Then Focusrite. Focusrite is going to be the star of this video because Focusrite interfaces are so underrated. They have the best quality for the price, they have great sound, and they come with all kinds of extra features. Like actually, you might notice that there is no software included in this little wish list. It's because if I click on this and we go down to the description, it comes with Ableton Live Lite software for free. And on top of that, it also comes with one of XLN's Addictive Keys softwares. It also comes with Softtube bundles, Focusrite plugin collections. So it comes with a stupid amount of stuff already. And not to mention the plugins sound great. It's a very low latency interface. It is a killer interface for the price. How much does this thing cost? $110. I own one that you will see later. So most of these interfaces we're gonna look at are going to be Focusrite. So we have Proco cable, Scarlett Solo 3rd Gen, then Audio-Technica AT 2020 microphone, $100. It's a very bare bones condenser, just a nice cardioid pattern, which just means it's catching whatever's right in front of it. But it's got very high reviews. Audio-Technica is a very popular brand. They last a long time. And then another Audio-Technica product is the ATH M30X closed back monitoring headphones. I have a pair of M40s. I love them, they're so great. And I know lots of people that have the M50s, incredible. And so the M30s are just the same thing, just a little bit more simplified, not quite as good of a sound, but good enough to where you can mix with them. Especially for $70, you can't beat this. So the total for this wish list comes out to about $29.98. So you have 2 cents left in your budget. So put that in savings, I guess. Okay, and moving on to the 500, we have the M50Xs, like I mentioned. M50s, so good, they're gonna last forever. Great quality, great sound. And then we add a pop filter. Now, I just realized that this one has terrible reviews, but the thing is about pop filters is that you don't need to go crazy with them. They basically all work the same, so you don't really need to look for anything that's super expensive. One costs $17. I've gotten ones for $15 that have 5-star reviews. So you can look for those on Amazon or on Sweetwater. The pop filter is really important because it's gonna block the p and the plosives is what they're called, sounds. So they're not gonna override your microphone. It's gonna make for a very clean recording. And then for the microphone, we have the Audio-Technica, the AT 2035. So it's another step up from the microphone in the $300 budget, the AT 2020. The only difference between this one and the previous microphone is this one has a low cut filter, a 10 dB pad, and a custom shock mount. The shock mount is a little like a suspension system that keeps it from getting knocked around, and it will keep it from actually like catching vibrations from the floor or from whatever. The low cut filter cuts like, I believe, it always changes with different microphones, but this one I believe cuts like from 70 hertz down, so that low rumble that you really don't hear in most people's vocals, cuts that to make a cleaner sound. And then the 10 dB pad means that if you're gonna have something that's like really stupid loud, you turn on that pad and the whole volume of the microphone is gonna go down. So that's really handy if you're recording drums or something very loud. Again, Proco cable. This one's a 20-foot, so you have a little bit more mobility. And the same interface as last time, the Scarlett 3rd generation that comes with all the software that we talked about. All right, getting up a little higher. Here's our 700 list. Another Pro cable, 25 foot. So again, you can go somewhere else. And we move on to a Rode NT1. Now, we ordered this microphone for the Matt's Music Recording Studio, and I have to say, I love it. It sounds incredible. It rivals my Aston Spirit here, honestly. It's super good sounding. And the best part is it comes with a pop filter and a shock mount. Now, I have to say, the pop filter would not connect. The pop filter was really jank. It didn't connect properly to the shock mount. I think that was just that was either a user error or that was a defect. That wasn't like a design thing. It looks like it would work perfectly, but something just got messed up along the way. But that's a great option, so you don't need to buy them separately. And it's a great sounding microphone, like I said. Oh, and I just realized it actually comes with an XLR cable. You can even get rid of this one. Shoot, all right, cool. And then we move on to Beyerdynamic DT 770 Pros. Now I have the 990 Pros, which are open back, which means that when I put these on, sound is coming in, kind of like AirPods or something like that, where you can still hear what's going on. I can still hear what's going on with these. These ones that I have on the screen are closed back, however, which means that sound's not going to escape and come into your microphone, and you're gonna be able to focus more in on the sound. So, you know, generally, if you can only afford one pair of headphones, you wanna get closed back because they're just the most diverse. And these are very high quality, incredible sound, high ratings, as you can see. And for the interface, we move on to again, another Focusrite, but this one is a Scarlett 2i2. Now the 2i2 is very similar to the Solo, except you can see it has these two inputs that actually can both do XLR or 1/4 inch, versus the other one, which it had one XLR on the left and 1/4 inch on the right. So this means you could have two guitars or whatever, basses, whatever you want to do, it's fine, I won't judge. Or you can have two microphones, and it's perfect. And it has like these air direct monitors, so much more options, and it's just going to be a more future-proof solution for your interface. And we have a little bit of wiggle room. Now here's the thing, we're starting to get to the point where your gear is going to start outrunning your software that comes with the Scarlett. So this is where you can start maybe swapping some things out. So let's say you wanted to get Logic Pro if you have a Mac, which I would hands down recommend Logic Pro over almost any recording software, but that's gonna be a whole nother video. But if let's say you want to get Logic Pro, it costs about, let's see, I think it's $300. It's only $200, even better, $200. So let's say you wanted to get Logic Pro, but keep it under $700. You could swap these back out with the AT50s, or you could even swap them out with the 30s, and then you can go ahead and get yourself some Logic Pro in your life. And that will up your game significantly, because Logic Pro has 1,000,001 plugins. It sounds great. The user interface is just so much easier than any of those free softwares that you're going to get, including the ones that come with the Focusrite interfaces. And I would highly recommend that. Or you could even swap out the microphone for one of the Audio-Technicas. Or honestly, you could replace the Scarlett, although that's the thing I would recommend least that you swap out. I would recommend primarily swapping out the headphones if you had to swap something out, and then the microphone after that, and really try to keep the interface to what it is. That's one thing you can do if you do want a better software. And finally, our $1,000 setup. Woo, here we go. So we have the Focusrite Scarlett 4i4. Now you remember we had the 2i2 in the last one. So what's the 4i4? Well, it's just 4 ins, 4 outs. So that means that you have 4 inputs total. You have 2 hybrid inputs on the front, and then on the back, you have 2 1/4 inch inputs and 4 outputs. So that means that on top of the headphones, which is all the way to the right, you can have 4 outs going to 4 different speakers. You can have going to different interfaces, whatever you need. And I actually have the 4i4 for a touring setup that I have, and I use it for recording at Matt's Music Recording Studio. High quality interface, it's incredible. In some ways, it rivals my Apollo, I would even say, although I don't want to get ahead of myself. And then for the microphone, oh, does that look familiar, ladies and gentlemen? The Aston Spirit, this microphone, in my opinion, is the best bang for your buck. Aston has specialized many ways of making expensive quality microphones affordable. And I know you're like, Jonah, when did $450 become affordable? Well, when you consider the sound that this microphone gets, $440 is trivial. And also think about the features. So this microphone has 3 different polar patterns. It has cardioid, omni, and figure 8 polar patterns, which means it can pick up all the sound around it, just the sound in front of it, or just what's in the front and the back, which means you have a plethora of options for recording different situations. It also has the low cut filter that we mentioned earlier, as well as a 10 or 20 dB cut, so you can record stupid loud things like guitar cabinets and, you know, acoustic guitars, whatever you're doing. Now, the reason it's more affordable is they cut corners and things that really don't make much of a difference, like the finish. It's literally just a basic brushed aluminum. I mean, it looks incredible, just the design, but the actual finish itself is nothing to write home about. And it comes in a cardboard box. Most microphones come in really fancy wooden cases and with bags and things that cost a lot of money, whereas this one came in a cardboard box with a plastic bag around it. And then we have the Beyerdynamic DT 770 Pros again, which we talked about in the last budget. And then last, we have this beautiful kit that comes with a reflection filter, which basically, I have one right here actually. This thing basically just blocks all the sound. So if I had it like this, so it's covering my microphone, and it makes the sound much more direct. So it's cutting out all the sound that's happening outside of it. And that's great for situations, because trust me, there have been lots of times where either the room doesn't sound good or there's a lot of outside noise going on, and this thing helps significantly with it. But this is a kit that comes with one of those reflection filters, comes with a microphone cable, a pop filter, and a microphone stand. None of the kits we've talked about so far have had the actual stand with it. So this is a great option if you don't have a stand. Now, it runs up to about $987, so not a lot of wiggle room for anything else. But again, you can apply the same methods. You can swap the Aston Spirit with the Rode or even one of the Audio-Technica mics. You could even swap the 4i4. If you don't need the 4i4, you can get the 2i2. Slashes that cost of the interface in half. But I would highly recommend, if you're gonna spend $1,000 on a setup, I would at least recommend keeping the reflection kit, because trust me when I say, even though it's a trivial expense and it's not sexy looking, the reflection filter is very important, as well as the pop filter. Trust me on that. The pop filter makes a big difference. So those are our different budget setups. And one other thing to think about, if you actually go back to the $700 recording budget, you'll notice I left a decent amount of wiggle room in here. Why did I do that? Well, because there wasn't really much else that was worth adding into this. But what can you do with that extra money is you can actually go buy some plugins. Because trust me, that's the beautiful thing about recording in the modern age, is that we have access to plugins that make the sounds that we can record just with our computers mind-boggling. I feel so lucky to be a recording engineer in the 21st century, where we have access to plugins, where I can get access to recording chambers that were in Capitol Studios that you could only get back in the day if you went to Capitol Studios and recorded there. Now I can just pay like a certain amount of money and I suddenly basically can record there. So you can take some of that money and you can put that towards plugins. But this is the bare bones. This is like anything that you need to just get you started. So if you just want to get the bare bones, just everything you need just to get started with whatever computer you have, here's the $300 one, $500 one, $450 technically, again $50 wiggle room for plugins and whatever. $635 is the next one up, and then the highest one, $987. Again, feel free to mix and match this. If you have any ideas, anything that I left out, there's a lot of gear that I love that just costs too much money. I couldn't fit into these budgets. So if you want me to make maybe another video like this of some higher budget setups, let me know in the comments if you would like to see that, if you would like to hear my opinions, or maybe if you would like to see what my specific recording setup is. I have the Aston Spirit, as you saw, but I have lots of other things that are not in this video. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this, please like this video and subscribe to my channel, where we post things like this regularly. If you want to help support me, please consider becoming a Patreon supporter. Patreon is this incredible platform where I get to post exclusive content like videos, unreleased songs, demos, and exclusive merch that only my Patreon supporters can get access to. Lowest tier starts at $2 a month, and you can cancel anytime you need, which is perfect for these weird times that we're living in. I forgot to mention that the link for all the stuff that I mentioned is going to be in the description of this video. So if you forget what any of this is, check the description. It will be there. Either way, thank you so much again for watching. My name is Jonah Kroll. Hope you have a good one.